YouTube, what is up? You got us right here at the GWC podcast presented by WLR Promotions. I am your host, Andrew Littleton, my co-host,
Rusty Lynn,
a.k.a. One Speed Ricky. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got a special guest here tonight with us, Tony Headrick. Tony, welcome in, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, we'll stick to the racing part of it, I guess. I started going to the races after some friends begging me to go, about 2001. So I've not been in it too long, not as long as y'all have. And I've been in it hardcore ever since. I've been flagging since the mid-season of 2013.
Oh, wait. You say flagging?
Yep.
What?
I'm a flagman.
Wow, a flagman. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, speaking of flagging, GWC, that's your green, white checkered right there.
Yes, sir.
So flagman, you know, Rusty, I didn't even think about having a flagman on here. What do you think about that?
I think it's pretty damn cool.
Especially on the GWC, man.
Yes, sir.
So tell us about your flagging. Where do you flag?
I've been flagging at North Georgia, like I said, since.
Hey, you can't count Hot Wheels events, okay?
Yeah. I've been flagging over at North Georgia Speedway since 2013. And I've now, for the past several years, I've also been going across the mountain over here to Sugar Creek.
Sugar Creek. Hey, we love Sugar Creek,
oh, yeah,
man.
we love
Sugar Creek is awesome place, North Georgia, especially right here at home. So
I've also flagged at Rome Speedway, Boyd Speedway, and over right down the road here at Dogwood Speedway.
Go-karts. Go-kart track racing. There you go. So flagman, that's awesome. Tony, I mean, that's some years right there, man. So being a flagman, sometimes I guess that kind of makes you the bad guy, right?
Oh, yeah. I've been bad guy several nights. Yes, sir. And they come down, either meet me in the pit somewhere, or they come down to the flag stand sometimes. I've had some conversations that wouldn't be polite to be put on here.
Well, we're kind of an open mic here, but hey, no, so flagman, it is. I've always considered that one of the jobs. I don't know, man. I don't think I could don't really think I'd want to. I've always think of like a damn car flipping, you know what I mean, and hitting me or something, or a damn chunk of clay or something, just anything, man.
Yes,
like
I've been hit with several. I've been hit, of course, with mud, rocks. I get hit with rocks constantly, and it does not feel good. I've been hit in the head with rocks, and I've had several cars come up underneath me, either on two wheels like this, or they hit the crossover part right there where my flag stand is. And once some guy knocked a big old chunk of concrete off the wall there, I've had some scares up there.
Wow, that's pretty neat. So speaking of flagmen, one thing about it in racing, there's quite a few flags. We know we got the green, white, and checker, and to me as a racer, hey, that's my favorite three flags. Exactly. You know what I mean? Because that's the only three I want to see all night. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So while we're on that subject of the flags, kind of go over and tell us what all flags we've got. And cause I know there's quite a few flying out there, you know what I mean? We don't see them a lot, you know what I mean? But kind of go over and tell our audience of what flags we've got and what all they stand for.
All right. We have black flag. Black flag. You've done something.
That's where you get the bad guy flag, right?
That's the bad guy flag. That's the one that nobody wants to see. That means you've done something on the track you wasn't supposed to, or you've been asked to pull off the track and you're not pulling off the track.
So real quick though, while you're on that one right there, the black flag, who makes the call? Is it you or the race director?
9 times out of 10, it's the race director. Unless I see something else that he don't see, then I'll call it. But it's usually comes out of the tower.
Got you. So we got the black flag
and blue flag with a yellow stripe on it. that means the leaders are coming up behind you and you're really slow. So stay out of the way.
Yeah, I think that's the one I get most of the time. You know what I mean? It's like, get out of the way. You're slow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, just hold your line, let the leaders get by you, then you can go back to racing. And I've had to throw that quite a bit, especially these big races and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And red flag. Red flag's not a good flag. If I have to throw it, that means something really bad has happened on the track. Either there's been a bad wreck, or there's a fire, or something like that. That means everybody has to stop where they're at on the track and wait till everything gets cleared up.
Got you. So you just stop on that one.
Yeah,
Got you.
Yeah. And, of course, green flag's the one that everybody loves. It means the race isn't starting. Everybody's on that loud pedal. So, and white flag, of course, means the last lap, which is the leader's favorite flag. Well, besides checkered, then you got checkered when he comes around. The race is over.
I think you're missing one.
Which one?
I think it's a yellow one.
I don't know. Yeah, the yellow flag's just caution. There's been a spin out or
As
something.
James Exis would say, caution is out.
Yeah.
I guess now it's like, your Colton Farms caution is out.
Yeah, the caution. Yeah,
I've always hated being in that caution car. I can't tell you, I'd be like spin out, and I'm like, oh, hell.
Yeah.
Man, did they video that?
I've had the yellow flag waved at me by Tony before
Yeah.
in the panel wagon.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So you got your, let me say, you got your green, you got your white, you got your checkered, you've got your yellow, you've got your black,
Yep.
you've got your red,
Yep.
And then you've got your blue and yellow. So you got 7 flags up in there. So 7 flags that you're having to coordinate up in the flag stand.
Yep.
Man, how do you do that? I mean, like, and then do you keep up with the laps, or does the race director keep up with the laps, or how does that work? Tell us that.
Well, the race director has a bonus because he's got the computer in front of him, so he can see the lap count, lap off. But I, regardless of what track I go to, I always count every lap. I always keep track of the time, stuff like that, because all the races have a time trial or time limit on them.
Yeah.
So then, but yeah, normally, I keep count of all the laps.
Man, that's a job.
Yeah.
That's a job right there. So keeping track of the laps, keeping track of 7 flags. That's like Snow White and the 7 dwarfs right there. You know what I mean? It's like, damn it, get over here, kid.
You named all your flags.
Yeah. Then also, while I'm up there, I'm having to keep track of the leader, track of the lap car, because I got to know where the end of the pack is, and count laps. And I got to watch for debris, watch for wrecks, and all kinds of stuff up there too.
So to me, it seems like the flagman is a pretty big deal at the track. I mean, love or hate him, you know what I mean?
Yep.
He has a job up there. You know, that's like I always tell people, they come in here and they say, oh, I could do it better. Well, hey, look, the position's up there. If you think you can do it better, get up there. I mean, it is definitely not easy. I know I've got up there and stood there a few times, but I've never really I mean, Ricky, do you think he could do that?
No. No, I actually got up in the flag stand on one practice at North Georgia, and I mean, I loved it. I loved the view and everything, but I mean, I just imagine cars and stuff flying at me, and I'm just like, yeah, I can't do this.
Yeah, especially when you get a whole field of supers get out there on the track, and they fire up, and that second or third lap, and all that wind and all that dust and stuff comes up there. Yeah, it's something else up there.
Well, a little cool story about me. This whole thing, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for a really cool flagman down at Dixie. So that's pretty cool to me, to be able to talk to somebody like you and just know that it all started with me by a flagman.
You know, and another thing though about, you know, like flagman, that's also like the little kids. That's their heroes, honestly, like the flagman. I love seeing, like, when you go to a track and you see these kids in the stands, man, waving flags and stuff like that. I think that is very cool. You know what I mean? I know that's one thing I've seen with you, Tony, is you're really good about getting, like, people from the fans and getting up in the in the flag stand and giving them an experience that they would probably never get somewhere, you know. So kudos to you on that for sure, man. That is awesome. Because let me tell you something, man. Fan interaction is one of the biggest things. That's one of the biggest things we've been slacking on in dirt racing, especially, you know what I mean? So anytime you can do stuff like that, is really cool. But guys, real quick, let me go to a commercial break right here, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back, and that commercial is brought to you by BB Designs. If you're looking to get anything designed, be sure to get with BB, my boy, Brandon Boyd. He does amazing work. He does more than just race cars. He does logos and a lot more, so be sure to get with him. So we're back. Tony, I believe Rusty's got some questionnaires over here, and we'll turn it over to Rusty here.
Yeah, I got a few of them. I guess I'm going to start it off with as a flagman or as a team owner or anything like that, what has been your most inspirational moment that just kind of you look back on that and you're just like, this is why I do this?
It actually happened this past season. I met this family a couple of seasons ago, and they have a little daughter. Her name's Sailor, and one of her biggest things was to get up on the flag stand. So every time I see them now at the track, whether it be where any track I go to, I make sure that she gets up on the flag stand with me and gets to. She can either hang out for a couple laps or hang out the whole race. I don't care. I love her and her family. They're the best. And this past season, and I've got it at home, she took a piece of paper and drew checkered flags on it and brought it down to the flag stand and gave it to me this past season.
Oh, wow.
And she loves coming down there, and I love her and her family for it.
That's awesome.
That is real awesome. So, I mean, that's awesome right there. I mean, you actually got my wife up in the stand a few years ago too. We were actually just talking about that outside.
Yeah.
So I guess another question I have would be, everybody really has this moment that, they look back on it, and when they think about it, it just sends cold chills down their spine, whether it be a really emotional moment or, something bad happened or anything like that. What would you say your moment is?
Probably several years ago when we were at the flag for Lucas Oil when they come to North Georgia. When I got asked to do it, I was really shocked because most touring series have their own flagman, and they come up to me and asked if I would flag for them, and that one blew me out of the water because I wasn't expecting to have that phone call.
Now that's pretty cool. So when you say Lucas Oil, that's like top of
top
the
tier.
line. You know what I mean? So I can see that. I mean that's awesome. You know what I mean? And for as crazy you touch on that is because I actually raced that race, and that's what that panel up there is for. Is that was my very first Lucas Oil race, and I made that race. You know what I mean? I mean, I beat Kyle Bronson in the B main there. Like, it was awesome. Yep. So I know how that feels, man. That was definitely. I mean, people might not think it's something big, but that's something big. You know what I mean? Because I mean, like you said, they normally have their
they have a crew
stuff,
that travel with them. So to get that call, then when I got to talk to Larry down at Rome, and he called me and wanted me to flag down at Rome too, because other than the North Georgia, Rome has always been my favorite track, and to have the opportunity to go down there and flag there, that was unreal. I love that part too.
I love Rome. So I guess one of my questions would be is here's one I like to hear. What got you into dirt racing?
Well, my friends that used to work for me, like I said, they begged and begged for me to go, and I finally just caved in one night. And my first race was over here at North Georgia, and ever since then, I love the sound. I love the horsepower and the smell and stuff like that. And ever since then, I've just been hooked. That's all there is to it.
So, with that being said, do you have a favorite driver, say in your super late models?
Oh yeah, you know who that is. Everybody knows who that is. Yeah,
I think it's a 25.
Yeah, it's right there, right there.
Oh, look at there! Look at
Yeah, Shane Clanton. He's my favorite. in the
Shane
supers.
Clanton,
Yeah.
the Georgia Bulldog.
Yes, sir. Georgia Bulldog.
Shane Clanton, man, he had a really impressive run down there at Alltech and stuff. So that's pretty cool, Tony, man, no doubt. So been doing the flagging for several years now. You're flagman at 2 tracks for sure. So, Rusty, you got another question over there?
Yeah. So, and I like Shane Clanton too, by the way. That made my night whenever him and Peyton Freeman came over to the track, and I was over there and got to be up close and personal with him. But another question is, I mean, you're still here, so what are some of your goals, like as a team owner, racer, flagman? Like, I know you haven't achieved all your goals, but what's like some of your bigger goals?
I think it's nothing huge or nothing like that. But of course, I like to get my driver over here in Victory Lane again. We won a race last year. I would like to maybe do some more of the bigger races. Like Talladega, some of the bigger tracks like Smoky Mountain or whatever, and do some of the Lucas Oils or the World of Outlaws and something like that when they come around into town. I would love to, if not flag, help them out in some way, because I know that down at like Sonora they swap flagmen in and out at Talladega too. They have certain classes they'll swap flagmen in and out with, and I would love to be able to flag at one of those big races like again.
So you reach out there, team owner and stuff like that, and I see that we've got I'll put on the screen up here, we've got Headrick Motorsports. So, and I've also see Headrick wraps, and I know you install a bunch of wraps and stuff like that. So, real quick, just kind of brief on what is Headrick Motorsports.
I started a few years ago. This is my second car now. I help the drivers out any way I can, getting sponsors, getting parts, and stuff like that. Just trying to make sure that we're good to go on race day.
That's awesome. So I know we got your driver be coming here in just a minute, which is really cool. I know you've really been doing a lot, helping these guys, and to me, I love seeing that. That's one thing we lack a lot in this sport is getting help like that. Sponsors are a lot harder to get nowadays. They're just
so hard,
and you've got to do so much. People don't realize, like, social media, you got to use it a lot, and you've got to be able to make sure these people get what they pay you for.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Make sure they get seen.
So one more thing though, before we end this right here and get your driver on here, tell us about the Headrick's wraps and stuff. What all you do there?
I've been into the wraps and decals installation since 2011 when I started out with Outlaw, and I've been doing it ever since. And if somebody's got decals or a wrap they want installed, they can call me. If they need one design, colors and stuff like that, it's something they have in mind, they can get with me, and I can get with my designer and stuff like that, and we can get everything worked out for you. Get something working for you.
That's awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Tony Headrick, your flagman at North Georgia Speedway and Sugar Creek. He is also the owner of Headrick Motorsports. He's got some drivers underneath his belt there. I know you do help some with the go-kart racing as well. So, like you said right there, though, guys, if you're looking, you need some wrap. If you got your wrap, you need help installing it, Tony is your man. Just give him a holler there. He's on Facebook. He's easy to find. So, Tony, man, I tell you what, it was definitely awesome having you on here, man. We appreciate you. Man, it's awesome to get a flagman in here, especially with this podcast, because that was one thing me and Rusty was talking about when we first, like, man, trying to come up with a name.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually came up with it one night, and I was like, oh, dude,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
That's
you
a
know
good
what I
one,
mean?
yeah.
So that's one of the biggest things that's hard to really come up with. But, man, appreciate y'all coming down,
Hey, I appreciate
coming
it.
in, getting on with us here a little bit. We're going to have your driver come in here in just a few minutes. And look forward to see what he's got to say. But Tony,
Yep.
2025, I know you've got a pretty busy schedule with 2 tracks there.
Yep.
Anything else you plan on doing in 2025?
No, I'm covered.
You're covered up. I got you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's Tony Headrick with Headrick Motorsports. Be on the lookout for their car. What number is that car?
23S.
23S. They'll be racing pretty much North Georgia, Sugar Creek, some other tracks. So guys, be sure to stay with them, and we'll get the driver in here in just a minute. But guys, we're going to go to commercial break, and we'll bring you back in just a minute. All right, we're back. We're back here. Ladies and gentlemen, we got the driver of the 23S, Jordan Sims, in here. Jordan, welcome in.
I appreciate it. I'm glad to be here. It's my first podcast, so
there you go. So, Jordan, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm 24 years old. I started racing, I think it was 2019, 2020. I went and got my first car. Wasn't nothing special, just something to start out with. Raced for about a year, got out of it. Said I wasn't ever going to do it again. It's too expensive. The itch came back, bit me pretty hard. Went and got another car. Raced last year and gonna continue this year. So,
man, that's awesome. So yeah, you speak on that. Yes, racing is expensive. You know what I mean? But a lot of things in life is expensive. Sports are expensive. I mean, it's just one thing about it is I'm sure you've got your family involved. You know what I mean? So one thing about racing is it's a family-oriented sport. It's not easy. I'll tell you that right now. It's not easy. So you got to take the good with the bad. You know what I mean? You got to take the bad with the good kind of deal. So that's one of my biggest mottos I can tell you that I've always had is never give up, man. Just keep digging, because them days are going to come. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that tattooed on my hand right there.
So tell us though. So 23S. Tell us about the number. One of my biggest things that we always like to know is why number 23.
All right. So back in the sports days, whenever I played baseball, basketball, football, anything like that, I started out with number 8, I believe. It just so happened that number was taken in the team that I got on in baseball. And coach come up to me and was like, "Hey, I've got 23 available. Would you like to wear that number?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Let's give it a shot." So then it kind of stuck for a while, and then everybody was like, "Oh, well, your name's Jordan. It goes with Michael Jordan and all this." And ever since then, I just kind of stuck with it because I stayed with that team for 7, 8, 9 years, if not more. That was a number I always wore. So whenever I switched over to racing, I was like, might as well just keep that number and just roll with it. So.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. So 23S, what kind of car are you racing?
It is a 2012 Blue Gray Rocket 602 late model.
602. There you go. There you go.
We're not up there with the Supers yet, but hopefully one day that's where we'll get. So
hey, keep digging, man. That's one thing about that 602 class, though, man. That's a pretty stout class right there, man. That's just seems like that's one of the biggest classes nowadays is your 602 guys. So, what's some of your, how many races you looking at this year? Or?
I'm hoping to at least get, one or two races in a month. Money wise it's all going to depend on that. I'm not going to go broke. I don't want to be living under a bridge somewhere because I wanted to go race that weekend.
So it sounds like, anybody wanting to get their name out there with some sponsors, man, he could definitely use it to get out there to the track and make y'all look good. I mean, I know one thing about you, I've got a good looking car, so.
Yeah, we've came up with a pretty cool wrap this year. Last year, Tony came on. He has helped me out tremendously. We don't get me wrong. We've got some good sponsors this year. You can never have enough, though.
No.
It's without Tony. I just want to say that. I don't know where I would be in the racing community today. I know at the end of the last year, I was like, I'm done with racing. We broke so much stuff last year. It was just an up and down year all year. But Tony, he pulled me to the side one day. Was like, we just need to keep digging. Let's not end on a bad note like this. So we, in the off season we talked, was like, let's go, let's give it one more shot. So 2025, we're gonna, give it the best we can. So
that's awesome. That's all you can do, man. Just keep digging like that for sure. It's not easy, man. Now, like I said, to me, that's what makes it like just that strive to go out there. Like you can see both our cars; they're stripped down. You know what I mean? We're going through everything, and what was it last year? We came out right out of the box, man, spun a brake caliper. It was just like boom, like it was like, oh no. So like this year, our plans was just to come out of the box strong and not hopefully have no problems. You know what I mean? But that's just racing. We didn't let it get us down. It put us behind. You know what I mean? But we didn't put it down. So Rusty, I know you've got some questions over there as well. Let's see what you've got over there.
All right. They're pretty much the same questions as I asked Tony, but he's the team owner. You're the race car driver. What has been your most inspirational moment as a race car driver?
Man, it's really hard to say. I've not had too many. The past 2 years that I've raced, I've only ran in the beginner class. So, I've kind of, just been learning the ropes to racing. So, trying to get out and inspire somebody. I haven't been able to do, that much. I do have nephews and stuff like that come over, and they love the race car. They want to go out, they want to tinker with it, or they want to get in it, or something like that. But like I said, it's not too many inspirational moments that I can think of. Hopefully, within the coming year, I'm going to move up to 602. So hopefully, we get out there a little bit more, and get some people inspired and hopefully get them into racing. So.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's a big thing with us is just the youth community. Like, we want to inspire the little ones that way. They hold our future.
Exactly.
And whenever we had one kid come up to us at North Georgia and we gave him a hat. We took photos with him. I think we got him inside the car. We'd already had it loaded up, but that next time we came back, he got to go in the car and everything. So that was pretty good.
You got to think too. That's what's going to keep the racing going.
Exactly.
In the coming years. So I try to focus on the youth at least. So
100%, yeah. So you say your racing careers, kind of still in the work, still just kind of fresh out here. What is some of your goals? So like when I say this is like when we pull out of the shop, we've always just got a goal. You know what I mean? So what is some of your goals for 2025?
The main goal is whenever we go out to race on a weekend, load the car in one piece.
We always say that's a win right there.
It's always a win when you can load it on the trailer under its own power. Nothing bent up or anything like that. I guess like a long time goal is going to be to move up eventually. I want to make sure I'm comfortable where I'm at first before I jump up to something that I'm not. So take it step by step in a way.
Hey, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. Like I said, you've got, to me, I've always felt like you just got to have goals. You know what I mean? That way when you achieve that goal, you go to the next goal. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, one thing if I was you, like, set your goal for some top 10s, yeah. You know what I mean? And then once you achieve that, go to like some top 5s, you know what I mean? Then go to podiums, you know what I mean? just kind of that way. To me, it just always makes you, kind of feel more achievable sometimes, you know what I mean? Because there's going to be some nights, there's been many nights I'd be out there in the front and get taken out, you know what I mean? It's just like, then I go back and look at it, I'm like, well, I was there, you know what I mean? So I don't hold my head down as much there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I raced beginners back in 2020, 2019, whichever year I said. Didn't get any wins that year. I mean, we raced quite a bit. And then this last year, like I said, we had an up and down year with breaking stuff. But I did get a win in the beginner class. I mean, it's a start. It's nothing to nothing crazy. It was definitely like a really great moment. So hopefully, I mean, like you said, get some top tens. Just start at the bottom and work your way up. Get some top tens, then go to top fives, and get some podiums.
So
this year.
when you talk about that, you got that first win there. There's nothing like just getting in victory lane. That's when you're really accomplished. So like we go back to that inspiring moments. To me, that's kind of like an inspiring moment because this is what I always tell people: is you treat every victory lane like it's your last one. Because I'm gonna tell you something. I went 3 years without winning, and you know how hard that was. I can't tell you how many seconds I ran. Like it was just very discouraging. But at the same time, I'm like, look, no. We ain't giving up. You know what I mean? We're going to get back in victory lane. And some drivers, they go out there and they win a lot every year. And you're just like, but then you sit and think, for instance, you go like these big guys. You look at people like Jimmy Owens.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't really know, but man, he was a very dominant guy. But you see him struggling. But one thing you don't see is you don't see him giving up. You know what I mean? He's out there every weekend chasing that, you know what I mean? Because there's just something about, like last night I watched Cody Overton win down there, he was crying pretty much in victory lane. Emotions. That means a lot, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't that he won $15,000. It was the fact that he won the race, you know what I mean? His dad was there. To me, man, that is the type of stuff, like anytime you're in victory lane, the best thing I can tell you is treat it like it's going to be your last time because you're not promised to get back in there. I can promise you that. And it makes the working and stuff like that even better. It's like you just want to try. Like last year, man, I came out, and I just told myself, I was like, look, I told Rusty, I said, we're coming out and we're winning some races this year. And we won 4 last year, and I was happy. We ran a lot of seconds. We ran up front, and it was good. It's just that feeling, that motivation. But it can be done. You know what I mean? And that's like them guys out there in that 602 class, man. They can all be beat any given day, So, Rusty, you got another question over there?
Yeah. What started it for you? Like, were you born into it? Were you introduced to it? Like how did you get to where that's what I want to do?
So it's actually kind of a crazy story. So back I was 7, 8, 9 years old. Dad grew up with a guy named Jerry Kaufman.
Oh, Jerry Kaufman, know him real well.
So Dad was like, "Hey, you want to go down to the racetrack? Just go watch." And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Sure, why not? I've never been before. What could it hurt?" Went down there. Well, we went to, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 races down at Boyd's. We watched, and then kind of got out of it because he kind of quit going, and I was like, I'm not gonna go. Well, one day I was like, I asked my wife, I was like, hey, you want to go have a date now? Let's go to Boyd's. I went to Boyd's, and I won't never forget it. I looked over at her and I was like, babe, give me a couple weeks and I will have me a race car. So it wasn't but a couple weeks. I ended up getting my first car in the 2019-2020, and that's where it all kicked off for me. So
That's awesome.
That's awesome. So, you say your wife, she supports you. I'm saying she's your number one probably supporter right there. Then that's always a good thing. That's like my wife, man. She supports me. His wife supports him, and just they love to be there as much as they can as well. But that's awesome, man. No doubt. Old Jerry Kaufman, man, he used to drive the A1 car there for years, man. He was a tough competitor. Let me tell you something. So every now and then he'll come back out, Booger, get him to go drive something every now and then. You know what I mean? Yeah. So So let's go real quick. Let's go back to another commercial break here real quick, and we'll come back. All right, we're back right there. Jordan Sims, man, driver to 23S, Headrick Motorsports there. Man, it's pretty awesome to be able to catch up with you on some of the stuff like this. And I got one question, though, is, I know you're still young, but so far, what is your most favorite moment in the racing so far?
More probably when I was coming to the checker of getting my first victory. I mean, that was it. Like, I didn't get really emotional, but in the car coming to the checker flag, that does send chills down your spine. Especially when whenever you grew up watching it, and then you're like, I'm gonna get a car one day, and then you actually go out and win one. It's definitely a moment that I'll never forget.
I know I always come to the checker, and I'm always just like, oh, man, please.
Yeah.
Nothing break, you know what I mean? Like,
hold together.
I've been there before, like coming to a checker and daggum drive shaft or something break or just a motor pop on you, you know what I mean? So I can honestly say I know how that feeling. Even today, though, I'm going to tell you, though, even more you get racing, though, more and the more you win, you're always going to have them moments like that, like you're going to be coming there and you just feel that emotion. It's like, whew, I've done it. And that, that's like me. I go back on this, and I want to tell this real quick while we're here. That's like last year, I won a very entertaining race last year with a driver, man. He won a lot of races over, he pretty much won them all over at Sugar Creek. And me and him, man, we traded sliders back and forth. He kind of got in the door, slammed me a little bit, and I had to, like, more or less throw my nuts over my shoulder and get up on the wheel and, get after it. And I went back in there and just dove in there and just kind of was dominant, you know what I mean? And took my spot back and won the race, and just, I'll never forget, getting out of the car, man, and just holding that steering wheel up, I mean, it's just that excitement, I mean, I've won several races over the years, but just, I mean, sometimes you get that, man. It's just that raw emotion. It was just like, and then nothing better, though, too, like with me, to have my son there coming up, just hugging me, I mean, my dad was just, have my dad there, just excited, because it was an exciting race. And the fans, man, I'm going to tell you something. I probably, ain't got the biggest fan count or whatever, but man, just hearing the fans in the stands up there, like I mean, everybody cheering up there. That's awesome, man. I can imagine how that feels right there. But Rusty, what do you got for us?
Well, so I guess what I have is whenever you first got behind the wheel of the race car and you were barreling down the back stretch going however fast, 80, 90 mile an hour. I know a lot of people say you don't think, you just do. So, like, what were you thinking right before you got to the corner?
Don't hit the wall. I know the wall can cost you a lot of money. It hurts. But I mean, it was just it's one of those things. It's just like, holy cow, I just, you're going straight for the wall, and then all of a sudden you make a hard left, and it's just like, I just avoided that, I mean, and with my first car I had, I don't even think it had a lift bar in it. I mean, the rear end never sucked up under it or anything like that. Well, I went and got this one, and I won't never forget. I went down to Fort Payne to test my first time. That car lifted up, it got on the bars, and I thought I was going to roll over. I mean, it scared me to death. I pulled off, and I said, am I about to flip here? Dad was like, no, the rear end's, just sucking up under, So I mean, it's
So,
a crazy
so
feeling.
what it is you got that 4-bar
Yeah.
action there. That's what I've been trying to explain to Rusty because we're going to put him in a car this year, and I'm kind of like one of them things. Like I'm excited to kind of see it because I'm going to tell you something. When that sucker gets up on them bars, you feel like you're passing.
Yeah.
You feel like you're passing. You feel like you're about to spin out,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and you're
Or
like,
roll over.
you're
One of
like,
the two.
whoa, something's broke. You know what I mean? Like this ain't right.
Yep.
It does, but it was kind of, it's funny when you say that because I'm so ready to see Rusty's reaction when he gets in this thing because it ain't like no panel wagon, no
Yeah,
go kart, nothing like that.
No,
When this sucker gets up, man, it is, it's something else. Like I don't know, like it's hard to really sit here just the feel of it.
yeah,
There's no.
it's a different feeling, and it's like I don't feel like a car should sit the way that they do. It's one of those feelings. It's like you said, it's something broke or what's wrong here. It's definitely a
And
different feeling.
I'll tell you something though. It's like the more advanced you get on shocks, you know what I mean, the more advanced you get on the suspension stuff, it is crazy. Like to me though, now I've just like compared. Like I got in, we redone Zane's car last year, and I got in it at the end of the year, and just the drivability and how much more I can feel the right front now, and just like certain stuff, you can just feel as a driver, and as you come more as a driver, you'll feel these things, like I can feel my right rear. It's just crazy, I mean, when people say that stuff, you're like, what? And it's like, no, you really can. Like, I could literally feel like, my right front planted down there. Like, I like how you can do that, but it's getting now. You get to another stage. You're like, you got to know how to do that. I mean, you got to know how to give that feedback. That's one thing. Like with Zane, he's able to kind of give some more of that feedback like that. But
I'm not there yet. I mean, I can kind of tell you what the car's doing, but who knows? I'm probably wrong in the long run. So.
But man, Jordan. So looking for a good season, 2025. What kind of? I mean, what all tracks? I mean, I know you say North Georgia and
North Georgia mostly, because that's the home track. Gonna go out to Sugar Creek. Might go to Fort Payne some. Um, I really want to go back to I-75. I haven't been up there in years. Probably back whenever I had my first car. But like I said, mostly North Georgia, Sugar Creek. Those are gonna be the main ones. But we're gonna venture out some more, hopefully.
hey, and there ain't nothing wrong with that because them two tracks right there have got really good schedules as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean, plenty of racing opportunity there. And Jordan, let me just tell you this, though, man. The more races, the more practices you can get, the more seat time you can get. That's how you get better. You know what I mean? And like I'll just be honest with you, you ain't gonna get no better sitting at home at the couch wishing you at the races, playing Xbox or World of Outlaws in there. That ain't gonna get you no better. It's the feeling in the seat. You know what I mean? So it's like get out there, man. Get every time you can. Like one of my things though is like when they host a open practice, get over and get it, man. That's like the cheapest you can go practice over. So be sure to hit that. Jordan, before we jump off here though, man, Russ, you got any more thing over there?
I mean, is there anybody you want to thank, like family, sponsors, or anything like
Oh
that?
yeah. I mean, we got some new sponsors that came on this year. Some from last year stayed on board. First of all, I'd like to thank my wife, my family. They stick behind me to let me live this crazy dream that I've had, for a while. I'd like to thank Tony. Like I said, he's helped me out tremendously. I'd like to thank my uncle Tommy with Psalms 100 Concrete. Morgan Laney with Laney's Race Shop. Kevin with Kevco Graphics, Nathan at Nathan Curtis Photography, Scott with Gentry Flooring, Luke at Paul Bunyan Tree Service, and we actually took on Andrew this year. He sponsored us a couple things, so I'd glad to have him on board. Also, I want to give a huge thanks to Spencer Singleton. He's going to be helping us out quite a bit this year, and last but not least, my crew. And Landon Gentry. He's helped me out with a lot of setup things. I can call. He'll be on the phone. I call him. I can kind of explain, what's going on, and he usually leads me in the right direction. But without these people, I don't know where I would be. I thank them tremendously. So.
Yeah, that's awesome though, man. No doubt. Sponsors, not any help you can get
Yeah.
is always huge. I mean, that's like some people like, man, why do you got those little names on there? I said every one of those has a purpose that's on here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's 10% off or something,
Right.
they've helped us somehow, some way. You know what I mean?
Even if
So
it's just like a bag of rivets or something
yeah,
something small. I
something.
mean, everything helps out tremendously.
Oh yeah, 100%. So I mean, as he says though, he's still got some room on there for some partnerships as well. If you're looking to get on there, they've got a heck of a team. You also do you got a Facebook page as well, right?
Yeah, it's actually Sims Performance Racing. You can find us on Facebook. Nathan Curtis just actually made us a new logo on there, so it kind of looks a little bit more professional. But yeah, it's Sims Performance Racing on Facebook.
Sweet. So Sims Performance Racing on Facebook. And one last thing though, here real quick though, your crew. Who do you got on your crew? And
Oh Lord, I got my wife. She's there to make sure everything stays under control. I've got my mother-in-law.
huge shout out to the wife,
Yeah.
keeping them in straight line.
Yeah, make sure I don't do nothing crazy. I got my mother-in-law. I got my dad, stepdad. Like I said, Landon with the setups and stuff. And really, whoever wants to tag along, I mean, I've got a lot of people, that stand behind me. It's just a matter of, if they want to come on. So,
Exactly. That's right. That's one thing about it. Finding help nowadays is a little bit harder. You know what I mean? So I know exactly how that is. I mean, we've got a heck of a crew with us. You know what I mean? It's just sometimes we'll show up at the track and we'll have more. I mean, I've got the loaners that help us, and man, I don't know. There's sometimes Brooks Shires and even Booger Brooks. I mean, Tony Headrick even comes with us sometimes. You know what I mean? So. Mickey Long. I mean, just the list goes on. Like it's just sometimes you get overwhelmed with help, and sometimes you ain't got no help. You know what I mean? But
and I mean, Tony, he's just as excited for stuff that we're doing around here as anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, he was messaging me yesterday. What's going on?
Yeah,
you can't tell me. Put me in the loop, man.
Yeah.
That's one thing I can say about Tony Headrick. I've known him for several years now, man, and he's always been a big inspiration to this sport. He's helped a lot of people. Man, and I love seeing what he's doing, man. He's helping these little guys out. You know what I mean? Like you said, it might be even something just small, whatever. It don't matter. He's there. I mean, he's helping you with sponsors. That's huge. You know what I mean? Tony's got a pretty good background in racing now.
Yeah.
A lot of people know him. And it's cool to see him out here helping teams like yourself. You know what I mean?
I was just a little nobody.
Yeah.
I hit Tony up, and I mean, he pretty much came with open arms. Was like, yeah, I'll show you the ropes to this. So
yeah, he's very good, and we're pleased to have Tony not only in the motorsport side of that well, but also as a flagman. He does a really good job on the flagman. Sometimes I don't agree with some of the stuff he does. You know what I mean? But
we'll
nah, yeah. Nah, he does a good job. He really does from that flagman. And like after we had him on there earlier, I'm gonna tell you something. That's just a job I would not want to have.
No.
I mean, that's just
it's too much to keep up with.
It really is like that. I mean, hats off to him for sure, man.
Yeah.
I honestly, I learned some stuff here tonight that I didn't realize. You know what I mean? I didn't realize what all they do. I mean, I've known they, keep up. I've always wondered, how, like, damn, how do you keep up with all many laps? You know what I mean? Like,
you really got to be on your A game whenever you're up there in that flag stand.
You really do. I mean, I know it's hard, because, like, for instance, over at North Georgia, like, they're like, oh, we need a scoreboard. Well, I know that would help a flagman. A lot of it has a scoreboard, So, thankfully, over at Sugar Creek, they got that badass scoreboard from Boyd Speedway over there. So glad to see that. But Jordan, man, we appreciate you coming in on board, man.
I appreciate.
Now this is the third episode. So ladies and gentlemen, don't forget your GWC podcast right here at WL Promotions. Give us a like, give us a follow, give us a subscribe. We're not on TikTok. And be sure to share it. You know what I mean? So pretty cool story right here. Jordan Sims, the driver of the 23S Headrick Motorsports, and Tony, as you seen here just a little bit ago. Shout out to them guys right there. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it right here. Rusty,
I'll see y'all on the next one.
What do you think about it, man? I think that right there was pretty good, man. They stay tuned. Episode 4 coming next. Who is it going to be?
I don't know.
We'll find out.